Hey y'all, I hope everyone is doing well today. In this video, by request, I'm going to go into more detail about the wicking method that I use. All you need is a jar. Now, I use any sort of jar that I have, and depending on the size of the pot, the size of the opening of the jar is going to depend on which wicking method I'm going to use. This actually fits quite nice in here, so I'll be ultimately using that method, but I'm going to show both methods that you can use. You need a jar, you need some sort of pokey stick. This is a wooden stake. You can use a pencil, a pen, anything that you have laying around that will fit into one of the holes here in the bottom of the pot. That's all you need it to do. I'm a big proponent of using what you have instead of going out and buying specific things. I've been told I MacGyver things, but that's okay. When you have limited income or you need to save your money, then you can repurpose things that you have laying around your house. I also have cotton wicking ropes. These are 1/4 inch cotton wicking ropes. You can also use candle wicks if you have them. Thick cotton thread, not thread, string. Thick cotton string. You can also use nylon, but I have found that cotton works well. You might try a shoelace. Again, have fun with it, be creative, use whatever you have at home and see how it works. If it's not working, then you move on and try something else. But that's how we learn. So I got about 40 feet of this cotton wicking rope for $8 on Amazon, and it has lasted me through this whole garden. When I don't need it anymore, if a plant dies or I just change its environment, I will save these. I will dry them out and save them for future use, because I paid money for them and they're still good to do what I need them to do. And I have here some rainwater. Now you can use purified water, distilled water. I wouldn't recommend tap water. I don't want to drink tap water. I would imagine plants don't want to drink tap water. I can't imagine there's anything good in there for them, nutritionally speaking. If that's all you have, then use it until you can get something better. But this is rainwater. So what I'm going to do first is show you the method where I set the pot inside the jar. I want to look and see where the bottom of the pot is. I don't want the water to go up to the bottom of the pot. The soil will soak it in quickly and I could potentially get root rot and that would kill the plant. So I don't want to do that. So I would say probably about 1/2 inch below the bottom of the pot is where I want to fill my water. And that's what I will do, using my finger and eyeballing it. Okay, and then I will put the pot in and test. There we go. Perfect. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just eyeball it. You don't have to do measurements or any of that. Now you take your stick, your pen, your pencil, whatever you have available to you, as long as it fits in the hole here at the base of the plant, and you take a piece of wicking rope, thread, whatever you're using. Now as far as this method goes, you'll want the wick about 2 inches, an inch to 2 inches inside the pot. Now you see this plant is pretty well established. I don't want to shove this rope up into the root system. that would traumatize it, could possibly kill it. I don't want to do that. So maybe 1.5 inches, and I want to make sure that the bottom of the rope is going to touch the bottom of the jar, just to give it all of the moisture in the jar. So that's a good size for that. So what I do is I take my wicking rope and I hold it with this finger, you see, right at the entrance of the hole I'm going to push it into, and I take my wooden stick and I gently press it into the hole. Now, if you can get it over just a little bit, it will hug this stick better and you'll be able to just push it straight up, which is not what's happening right now. But we just slowly go up. Just slowly. You don't want to jam it up there. That would not be healthy for the plant. Now, as you see, as I'm doing this, it's starting to push the soil up a bit, so you want to be careful about that. Now, we've got the wicking rope in the bottom, and you just place that in the jar, and that's it. You check the water every day. They won't need water every day. This won't need water every day because it's a smaller plant. Now, something like the dill or the cilantro will, of course, use more water because it has more foliage that needs the water for growth. You can check it every day. Also, you can pick up your pot out of the jar every day. If it feels heavy to you, then it's got enough water for a couple days, probably. I would dump this water out. You can save the water. Just put it in a container, what have you, keep it at room temperature, and you can just put the pot back in the jar. Let it sit for a couple days. Again, check it every day. If it starts to feel light, then that's drying out. Now, you don't want soil to be constantly wet because you will get root rot and your plant will die. I have experienced that many times over. So you want to be sure you're not overwatering, which is why you want to check it every day. Now, I've heard people say, well, put your finger in the soil down to 1 inch. If it's moist, you don't have to water it. I have found that that doesn't work for me, simply because sometimes I can feel 1 inch down and it's somewhat dry, but there's still a lot of moisture lower than that, and I end up overwatering and getting root rot. So I just do it by the weight of the jar, of the planter, to see if that's working. Now, our second method, I'll take this out now for demonstration's sake, is if you have a limited amount of jars, you can put up to 4 of these pots around 1 jar and use this wicking method. This, again, is the cotton wicking rope. It's longer because I'm going to need it to go about 1.5 inches to 2 inches in, and then I'm going to need it to go over the jar and into the bottom. Now, there's a little more rope than I need there, but it's gonna work because I'd rather have it a little too long than too short. So again, take your rope, your thread, your candle wick, whatever you have, and you're going to put this onto the top of the soil towards the edge because you don't want to damage the root system. Take your stake, your pen, your pencil, whatever you have, and again, gently press it down about 1 inch to 2 inches. And that's it. You put the other end in your jar of water, and again, you can have 4 plants around 1 jar. That's if you don't have space or jars to have them all sitting in their own jar. Now, as far as the pots go, again, you can use anything that you have sitting at home. You can even use old oleo containers. Make sure you wash them out really well. Put some holes in the bottom for drainage. Use what you have. The less money you have to put into it, the better, obviously, for those of us who have very limited income or just plain can't afford it. This, what I use to hold my water that I use to water my plants with, this was an old iced tea container. You can use any sort of juice container, anything that will hold your water. I just set it aside on my workstation at room temperature and let it sit there. It gets used frequently, so it's not sitting there getting stale and mucky. But again, use what you have at home. If you're not sure it's going to work, try. If it doesn't work, try something else. You can be creative. You could wrap this jar in a bow or some sort of cloth. You could even paint the jar. If you only have a few plants, be creative. Make it fun. Make it so that you're going to enjoy it, that it's not a chore for you. Because once it becomes a chore for you, you're going to stop really caring what happens to the plants. I hope that this helped. If you have any further questions about any of the materials that I used or the methods, please contact me either by commenting below or emailing me at growingbelow@gmail.com. Thank you. Have a great day.